Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So tonight we are still with my main gal. My main gal is done with the MSQ. She's finally caught up. She's completely through 7.5. For anybody who happened to miss Wednesday, because Wednesday was a new stream day for me. If you happen to miss Wednesday, the VOD should still be there. And should be able to go check that out. And it is a much longer stream than what I would normally do. I normally only do 2 hours. And that ended up being almost a 3-hour stream because I really wanted to make sure I got through that. Hey Euler, hey Daris. So glad you guys could join tonight. And at the request of some of you, I know for sure Euler is one that requested this. We're going to do PvP, and we're going to do hopefully some hunt trains. There was a hey Red Hawk, good to see you again. One of the requests was PvP, and then I was also like, well, I will also do some hunt trains if hunt trains happen to pop. I did just miss one on Brendhilder, it looks like, that just started at 7:50, and then very shortly before stream started, people reacted with the skull emote, which means that the train is done. And typically with those announcements, I watch Centurio Hunt's Discord. There are quite a few different Discords where you can react for pings. Hey, Levy, good to see ya. You can react to get pings and all that stuff. You can also get in-game notifications if you join link shells and stuff. What I highly recommend doing is if you are wanting to join those link shells, you join the Discord servers first. And within those, they have link shell finders. And that's how I got into a link shell, was within the Discord, I found the channel that was a link shell finder. I put my name and my server on there, and eventually I got an invite to a link shell. So there are more limitations to link shells just because of, like, if you go traveling to other data centers or other worlds and stuff, if it's just a regular link shell, you're not going to get those notifications. If it is a cross-world link shell, they will not work across other data centers, though. So, like, if I were to pop over the Primal or to Aether, my crystal link shells would not be working. And for my regular link shells, those only work when I'm on Deobolos. So if I were to go to another world, those would break too. So having the Discord allows you to get all the pings regardless of where you are. Not only that, but link shells also have a limit to how many people can be in them. So they have to be stingy and limit who all they invite and all that stuff. So it could be hard to get into them. There's also a limit to how many link shells you can have, whereas the Discords, it's a lot more open. And if you don't want to join Discords or anything like that, there is a Floop app. I myself have not tried out the Floop app. I am in the Floop Discord server, and I've looked briefly at the Floop app, but I have not used it myself. But I did want to mention all that stuff about the Discord server, so that way, if I suddenly stop doing PvP and switch to a hunt train, I kind of know what's going on. Since there's no hunt train being announced at the moment, I do have Discord up in another window, and I do have an eye out on it, even though I have, when I stream, I put Do Not Disturb on. That way, I don't get distracted by pings, because I'm easily distracted. I'm like, I will notice if something comes up, I think. But in the meantime, I want to do some stuff with PvP. And before I go somewhere else, I'm going to put my umbrella away so we can see what my hotbar looks like before going there. And I know my hotbar is small at the bottom of the screen. But even with Summoner, I've got numbers 1 through 7 pretty dang well populated on 3 different hotbars, with the addition of a few extra buttons. Like I have Swift Cast, Resurrection, and summon Carbuncle, as well as Surecast off to the side. Zeke is also on there because I had space for it. Hey, Leon, good to see ya. Zeke, that if anybody plays Summoner, this is literally only on my hotbar because there's space for it. That is literally the only reason for it. Physique sucks, okay? Like, in-game, don't use it. At low levels, it's fine. Probably why it's on my hotbar. But at level 100, you're going to auto-heal for more than Physique is going to do. So don't be wasting your global cooldowns for Physique, because it just sucks. It sucks. But the reason I bring so much attention to my hotbar is because as soon as I go to the Wolf's Den Pier, that hotbar is going to change in a day. Yes, so you're not the only one who likes to do that. I've totally ran a deep dungeon where I was playing the healer and my paladin decided, even though he was pretty close to full health, he kept healing himself anyway. And I was like, would you stop it, sir? And fortunately, nobody was playing a summoner and throwing physiques on themselves. But yes, I've spent so much time yelling at people for using physique. I'm like, just don't use it. Don't use it. Like I remember last expansion in Savage content, it was like people were like, yeah, I'm going to use physique. And it did, I think it was like 750. Yes. I couldn't think of what the spell was called. Clemency. Like, he kept using Clemency. And I'm like, stop freaking using Clemency. But yeah, someone was using Physique. And I'm like, okay. So that Physique that you just did 750 HP. And a single tick of just regular restoration was doing over 1k. Like, I don't even remember exactly how much over 1k. I just remember it was way more than 750. I'm like, that 750 is just, that's garbage. That is worthless. Don't be doing that. Like, you're going to save yourself more health by doing damage to whatever's damaging you. But anyhow, let me put my umbrella away so I can show again what my hotbar looks like now. And you may notice that even though, like, the right of my hotbar, it's still rather crowded, not a single one of those things, aside from maybe return, needs to be on my hotbar. I've got mounts, and I've got some little reactions for some people, and I have a quick access to my PvP profile. Otherwise, it's pretty much, my main hotbar has 1 through 5, and then I have a couple buttons on additional hotbar, including my various limit breaks that I have as a summoner, I recuperate and elixir, and some other standard things, as well as my my self-mitigate as a summoner. I try to standardly set this up across different jobs, even though I pretty much only play summoner in PvP. I try to stick my main abilities on my main cast bar and then have my limp breaks at buttons that I'm going to frequently use on next bar, such as Control 5 or Control 4. But then my recuperate, my elixir, my purify, and my guard are all in the exact same spots. As is my sprint. My sprint is always in the same spot. That way it helps me transition between jobs a little bit more easily. The thing about the PvP hotbar is the only place you can edit your PvP hotbar outside of going into PvP itself is to go to the Wolf's Den, and that will give you the special hotbar. And editing your abilities, you want to go into your PvP profile. If you don't have it set to your hotbar or a keybind or anything like that, you're just going to go into your character menu and then select PvP profile from there. But personally, I got plenty of space on my hotbar. So I keep it there. That way, just in case I happen to forget something, like I could quickly open that up and adjust as needed. Most of Summoner's abilities, so like scrolling through this, there's a lot more here than what's assigned to my hotbar. That is because things like cannot be assigned to the hotbar because like different things will transition into these abilities. I believe Ruin 3 becomes Worm Wave if I have it becomes Worm Wave if I have Bahamut summoned, and summon Bahamut becomes Death Flare. If I summon Phoenix, then I'm going to have Brand of Purgatory, or not Brand of Purgatory, Mega Flare and Everlasting Flight be what Ruin 3 and Summon Phoenix transition into. Like some of these abilities are going to transition into other ones based upon which limit break I am using. Which is why some of these say cannot be assigned to your hotbar, cannot be assigned to your hotbar, cannot be assigned to your hotbar, cannot be assigned to your hotbar. That's going to be the same for pretty much any of your other jobs. If it can't be assigned to your hotbar, it's because one of your abilities is going to change into that ability. I would imagine that's going to be the same way that we are going to see things with the new evolved mode with next expansion. We're going to see a lot of these things with their descriptions come up in the abilities, but it's going to say you can't assign it to the hotbar because this is going to something will transition into this. But at the bottom, you should always see these 5 abilities: your standard issue elixir, your recuperate, your purify, your guard, and your sprint. The sprint does look a little different on here as opposed to your regular sprint with your within your character menu, wherever it is. I could never remember. There it is in general. Like if I were to put this there, they're going to look different, and regular sprint is going to say this is unavailable in PvP. Okay? So you don't want to assign the regular sprint to it, to your PvP hotbar. Unlock the whole thing. Didn't want it to go there. You want to make sure that in your PvP profile, you assign sprint from there. Because they do work differently from one another. You have different recast times, and limitations. Like sprint in PvP is way more powerful than it is outside in the regular world, because you have a limitation in the regular world as far as how long it lasts for, whereas with sprint, it just ends upon executing another action. So if you go to hit somebody else, your sprint's gonna drop down, but you have a 1.5 second recast timer, whereas your regular sprint only has 60 seconds, or has over 60. So like you've got that difference there, which is why this version of sprint can't be used in PvP, because they've already made this one pretty OP. There's no point in having both of them. And all of these abilities that overlap, like for instance, you have Ruin 3, you have Mountain Buster and all that stuff in PvE, you still want to make sure that you use your PvP profile to assign these to your hotbar. For the most part, especially if you were to unlock PvP now, a lot of these abilities will get automatically thrown onto your hotbar for you to reorganize. However, if you started playing before, I believe it was in Endwalker that they reworked PvP, if you played before the rework, you will see a lot of things on your hotbar that's going to say that ability is not available. Let's see, maybe I have something that, we're going to see. Here we go. Okay. Ignore my hot mess of an outfit. Because this is actually my, my gear set for Eureka, for Red Mage. But looking at my abilities, you can see that there's a lot of things that are marked out like this. That's because the job got reworked, and there are different abilities. Like I still have my Corpse of Corpse, and I still have my Displacement as options, but my other abilities need to be replaced on my hotbar for Red Mage here, because I haven't updated those. And you might see that every once in a while as they as they rework different jobs and things like that. But you'll notice that, like, as I said, recuperate, stagnation, elixir, purify, guard, and sprint. I keep those in the exact same spots no matter what PvP job I'm running. That way, just in case I decide to play a different job for some reason, I've got that available. Let's see. Still no hunt train. So, because there's no hunt train, and I will tell you guys, I am very much an amateur when it comes to PvP. And I am working with a different computer mouse. So, I will go ahead and queue in for Crystalline Conflict. Just to kind of show what it's like. And I'm going to do it as a casual match. And the reason I want to show it is just because, like, all the PvP that I have shown on stream so far has all been frontline. And Crystalline Conflict is very much different from frontline. Very, 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 very different. Which is why I have these buttons on my hotbar. The extra reason for that is because you can't talk in Crystalline Conflict. You can't type in chat. And the reason for that is to keep things from getting toxic. Because they know people will start talking crap to each other. They realize that happens in PvP. So to keep you from doing that, they're like, you have to use these fixed macro buttons to communicate with one another, which are all available in the PvP profile under Quick Chat. You can assign them in there. That's one reason why I keep my PvP profile on hand, is just in case I need something that's on here that I don't have on my hotbar for some reason. I could quickly pop it up and throw it on there. I don't play PvP enough to assign all of these to my hotbar because I will never remember where all of those bands are at. So that's why they're not all there. If I played PvP more often and was like super high ranked or something like that, it'd probably be a different story because there's plenty of room on my hotbar, but absolutely not. Honestly, I've never paid attention to that tab, but it says Frontline and Rival Wings, so it's not going to be important for Crystalline Conflict. But I want to make sure I do Crystalline Conflict because I know some of you are getting into PvP and particularly wanting to look at your series milestones, so that way you can unlock, like with this series, you can get some new attire if you reach rank 25, or series level 25, I should say. More than likely, unless you are super committed to doing frontline every day for quite some time, you're probably going to end up having to do some Crystalline Conflict. The reason I don't bring up Rival Wings is just because outside of specific events, Rival Wings doesn't get a whole lot of interest. Now there are Rival Wings events that I would recommend. There is a PvP revival Discord where they coordinate those type of events because there are achievements behind Rival Wings and stuff. So there are people interested in it. It just takes some coordination to get enough people to do it. Because Rival Wings, similar to Frontline, takes a lot of people. And when not many people queue for it, like, you're going to be sitting there for a very long time if you try to regularly queue. Crystalline Conflict, though, like, Frontlines has the benefit of people are running it every day because you get a large chunk of experience. Like, Summoner, I'm almost halfway to 92 on Summoner. I would probably hit 92 if I were to run a Frontline right now. That is a huge benefit for Frontline. Rival Wings doesn't have that benefit. And it just, you have to have so many people for it. Crystalline Conflict, however, it's 5v5. So not very many people are needed for Crystalline Conflict. And especially early in a series, a lot of people tend to queue for it to try to hit that series rank 25 quickly. So we're going to see what this queue looks like. Like right now, it's estimating less than 5 minutes. I know it's super, super tiny on my screen because I don't like having all that text blocking a whole bunch of stuff. But it shouldn't take too terribly long. But Crystalline Conflict is going to be a 5v5. Wait. Withdraw. Hold up. And the reason I say withdraw is because there is a hunt train pop. Hunt train, and oh hey, I'm on the right server. It's on Diabola, so I don't even need to go anywhere. Typically, you would have to either world hop or data center hop or something like that. But it's saying it's on Diabolos. It's in Ikbrox. Yaktal is where they are starting at. So I'm going to start with teleporting there. And then I need to... Oh, come on, chat windows. I'm going to move my chat overlay for just a second on my screen. There we go. I'm like, I can't see my little menu down there. Okay. So, oh, it looks like someone already started Party Finder for it. So, you could quickly join someone else's Party Finder for it. If there's not a Party Finder up, you can join, or you can create your own pretty quickly. I'm actually going to switch to a tank that I have up to level 100. Actually, hold up. What even is... Okay, that is my glamour. I was like, what is my outfit? What did I do? Okay, I guess that actually is my outfit. And this should be a really, really good hunt train for me. Like, I'm so happy this hunt train popped. Because how this hunt train was announced. So it came up in the Centurio Hunts Discord under Crystal Train Relay, since I am on the Crystal Data Center. And that's what I have opted in for. And it says Diabola's triple daisy chain is starting off shortly. So the triple means that we have 3 expansions worth of hunts that we're going to be doing with this train. Now, not always do people opt in for all of those hunts. Like I'm hoping... Oh, they say, okay, hold on. I've got time. Before they take off, like, you always want to make sure that you go through, like, I thought about this. I was like, crap, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty well capped out on my nuts. Shoot. I'm pretty sure it just went to an ad. Shoot. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, it's saying ad starts in 4 minutes. Crap. But it said the trade isn't starting until 8 minutes before or after the posting. So, and the reason they like to do stuff like that is because they like to give you time to spend nuts. Oh, crap. Okay. I guess I'll grab this. I'm going to assume... Go grab that. And go back. But you want to make sure that you're not going to... I'm not worried about my poetics. But I should have spent some of my other tomes, probably. Oh well. Oh, come on, game. Load. I haven't used nuts that way because most of the time I can find something that I want to spend my nuts on. And typically that's going to be stuff for augmenting my gear. like even like right now, like I don't have any foam pieces, so I don't have gear to augment. But at some point, I'm gonna be augmenting gear, and like this expansion, it's not nearly as bad as like last expansion. Last expansion, I had so much gear that I needed to augment. So I definitely had to spend a lot of my nuts on augmenting. And what I do with my poetics is I actually get soil with my poetic. Like I have a tendency to get either shroud soil or Thanalan soil, depending on what I'm growing in my gardens. If I am working on Thavnarian onions, I get Thanalan soil is what I meant to say, not Thavnar soil, Thanalan soil. Because that promotes the crossbreeding that is needed for the Thavnarian onions to properly cross. And then shroud soil I use especially if I am trying to grow like crafting shards and stuff. So that way, something that I'm not really looking to crossbreed or anything like that, but I want to get triple the amount of. But that's typically what I dump my poetics on if I don't have anything else to spend them on. Here lately, I've been spending them on like old relic weapons and stuff. Hey, Felicia. Like, for instance, I've been dumping them on a lot of the Endwalker weapons. I've been behind on that. Let's see. Okay, so this is about to start, and typically with hunt trains, the conductor is going to shout exactly where you need to go in the shout chat. Sometimes they also put it in the yell chat, especially if they notice like a lot of people are shouting, which sometimes can happen in these because people, you know, it can get a little boring sometimes when you're just going from area to area and just hitting a target a few times. So like it makes sense as to why people are shouting and just trying to have these conversations with each other. So sometimes you'll see that. Sometimes if you are also able to get into the conductor's party, they will also put the mark within party chat as well. But getting into the conductor's party can be really hard to do. I'm still keeping an eye on shout chat, waiting for that location to be given for. Okay, there seems to be the announcement, and they're saying, here's where we need to fly over to. And one of the things I want to note is I am running as tank for this. Don't have to run as tank. One of the reasons I run as tank is because a lot of it has to do with enmity. And it's really easy. Whoops. Things are not loading very fast for me. To the point that I was on top of that. But one of the easiest ways to get the top marks is to go as a tank and throw on your tank stance and throw your weapon a couple times. That draws that boss's attention pretty decently. And if you're in a party of 8, especially if you've got quite a few tanks, like my party has a decent number of tanks, you're going to get quite a bit of credit. Trying to see. Okay, that's where it is. Receiving over 13,000 packets. Like that's a lot. That's a lot of information to be processing. So no wonder things are having a lovely time trying to load. Typically, it's also courtesy to not have your chocobos summoned, like what some people have. Because otherwise you have, like as you can see in my case, like there are people coming in and out constantly. Oh, and now they're saying instance 2. If you're having issues like I am with loading stuff, don't worry. More than likely, someone's going to have your back. You're going to be able to quickly select or get a teleport. Say, whoops. I apparently hit instance 1. I need instance 2 to go to that next mark. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on that my character and mount didn't even want to load there for a second. And you'll notice that this trade is going very fast. Within the posting, the conductor will typically give some sort of indication as to the speed of the hunt train. So where you can see that is typically they will indicate if it's going to be like a weight train or if it's going to be a bullet train. If it says bullet train, then it means it is going to go fast. They are not going to wait for you. The conductor does not expect people to wait for you. It is as soon as people get there, it can be pulled and it will go quickly. If it is a weight train, the conductor will typically say, like, when I transitioned instances there, they will typically just say something as simple as instance 2. And then they'll say, okay, we're going to wait for everybody to come. And typically someone in the party will shout how many people in their party have successfully made it into the instance. Yeah, you're going to see I'm going to get a whole bunch of, I can't get any more poetics because I've already capped on those. I did not properly stop to spend my poetics. I am not really concerned about my poetics right now. Just because I've been so bad about even getting poetics to begin with, and I'm not that stressed about getting more Endwalker relics at the moment, so it is what it is. Some people might prioritize. Let's say this boss should be right here. Oh, hey, that is totally fine. I completely get it. I do not expect anybody to be watching my stream and do nothing but watching my stream and replying to me. I mean, that's not how I live my life. That's not how I expect anybody else to live their lives. Like, there's a lot of times when I'm, like, working on stuff, I have, like, if I were just editing videos and stuff like that, for instance, I typically have a TV show running as well as I'm editing videos. And I'm, like, half watching a TV show and half editing. Like, I usually don't give 100% attention to any one thing in those instances. Now, obviously, when I'm streaming, I do give more attention to streaming, but that is also because there's just so much to juggle when it comes to streaming. But just watching a streamer, nah. I'd probably be, like, playing another game myself. Oh my gosh, boss, load so I could target it. People, put your damn chocobos away. Yeah, I can't even target stuff because... Yes, so you might see... So that is also the thing about bullet trains, is so that error that I was getting, why I wasn't teleporting, is it said the area's limit has been reached. That's why some people do weight trains. Because they understand that the hunt train may be at capacity. And it can be hard for people to get there in time. Yes, that was that pink mount, the elephant. That is actually the pinky elephant. It is from one of the Endwalker treasure maps. I can't remember which one. A friend of mine actually gifted it to me for my birthday a few years ago. Yeah, it's a pink elephant. Oh my gosh, there are so many people on this train, which I can't say I am surprised by the number of people on this hunt train. And I mean, like, I feel like just about anybody's computer's gotta be having a hard time with this, especially with how many chocobos there are. Put your dang chocobos away. In case I haven't said it enough times at these people, you guys, if you go on a hunt raid, make sure you are courteous. If there are a ton of people like there are on this train, make sure you dismiss your chocobo. Because those chocobos just make extra things to load, and it makes it even harder for people to get from one instance to another and for them to properly load everything. Like, I missed an entire mark and rewards because I couldn't even load the boss. Yeah, I'm like, I can see the AoE that's happening. There he is. So another reason why I'm running tank on this is because, like, so long as, like, some people in my party get a hit on them and I can throw my weapon once, I'm going to get 40 nuts per mark. I'm being completely spoiled by my party here, though, with, not all parties are like this. Quite a few are, but every once in a while, you get people that are like me that are stingy about their teleports, that aren't super fast and be like, oh, I'm gonna, That is a good point, Big Red, is the, actually, I'm just gonna call you Nim, because I know you're Nim, is to just run into the AoE, so that way you at least get hit. Hey, Nim. I don't even remember what I was saying. This goes to, like, what I was saying the other day. There are times that I will be, like, mid-sentence. I know this time I wasn't mid-sentence, but there are times that I've been mid-sentence talking. And it's not a matter of I forget what I'm talking about. It's I legit forget I was even talking to begin with. It's... There. I was like, I didn't even click on... Brain fog, you guys. Brain fog. It's so bad. Oh, shit. People are already there. I see all the arrows. All these arrows loading. All of these arrows. All the arrows. Yeah, I can't carry any more mathematics or poetics, but I am still getting mnemonics. So it, like, this is also, now, granted, this is a very populated hunt train, but particularly if you could go at times where it's going fast but not having the load issues that you have right now. It's a great way to tap all of your tomes. Okay, living memory. And even if I could think fast enough to teleport. It's been so long since I've done a hunt train that I'm just not used to the order. Some conductors have a very specific order that they go in. So people know exactly what zone to go to and exactly which location to go to. But I haven't done a hunt train in, like, I think this is my first, maybe my second one this expansion. Actually, I take that back. This is at least my second one this expansion, because I remember doing at least one. So that way I could demonstrate it for a video. Like, I wanted actual hunt train footage and everything. So I remember doing at least one. But I don't remember if it was a Dawn Trail one, though. I want to say it was an older one, but then I did do a Dawn Trail S rank for some footage with it as well. Thank you for the follow. I really wish I had kept up on some of my language learning and all that stuff, because I used to know what those symbols, like I used to be able to pronounce those symbols, and I've been bad about it. So I'm so sorry that I cannot pronounce your name at the moment. And not all people stay for all of the entirety of hunt trains. So like this one is a triple. So we are now into the Endwalker train. And how this person announced they were going to go through it was they were going to go through and do Dawn Trail first, and then they were going to do Endwalker, and then they're going to do Shadowbringers last. And with how the instances are at the moment, there's going to be more Endwalker marks than the other two. Dawn Trail just has a couple extra instances, but our Endwalker zones, we have more extra instances in Endwalker zones. Personally, I still, like, even though you don't get the current tomes, like, I'm not going to get the mnemonics for these marks, it's still worth it because you're still going to get a bunch of nuts. So especially if your goal is to augment gear, it's still worth it to do all of it. She still really wanted to try to get us with that little song there. She really still wanted to get us. All right, there we go. There we go. Loaded, loaded, loaded. And even if you don't have, or hurry up and grab the flag, typically you can follow the crowd and they will take you to where it's going. Ah. Well, it decided to unload before I could even hit it. That's unfortunate. Like, let's see. Oh my gosh, my frames are so crappy right now. Because so many people want that gear to be augmented. Hey, I saw my chat. Someone withdrew their chocobo from battle. Instance 1, okay. And typically, the conductor tries to be nice, like what this conductor is, and says, Check your instance. Check your instance. Instance 1, instance 1, instance 1. Okay, I'm in instance 1. If you're not sure what instance you popped up in, you can check in the chat, and you could also type in /instance, and it will return what instance you are in the event that you happen to miss what instance you're in popping up in there. Because I said sometimes people can shout a whole bunch, because now a whole bunch of people are shouting about it being cold and how it's ever cold and blah blah blah, and being crazy. Another thing that can suck about hunt trains, especially with ones that are like this, where it's people are having issues with loading and everything like that. It could be hard to see when other people die in combat because of mechanics or something. Whether it be they didn't necessarily see something load and got swiped by it. So those moments do suck. Okay, it looks like I'm back up to a full party because whoops. Because whoever threw up the party finder initially decided to relist it in the event that more people wanted to join. Typically, that is a good idea because the more people you have in your party, the more hits that you can get on the boss, and the more likely that you are to get the full rewards. Because, as I said, it's pretty enmity-based, but it's split across the party. It's not just based upon one individual. So that's why in these instances where it's like, I barely managed to get there and throw once, as long as the rest of my party is on it and there, it's okay. And sometimes it recognizes when there's a whole bunch of people that so long as you manage to get something on there, it'll give you the max reward. The reason I'm going ahead and throwing a few times is to really make sure that if anybody in my party can only hit once, that we can still get the full credit. But I might stop doing that because it does seem like most of my party is getting there before me and having a better shot at getting things to load. Oh no. Oh no, I do not want to be in front of him. Okay. This tree is one that can be pretty tricky if you don't have a ton of people like what we have going on here, because he is one that can do a lot of damage and potentially kill you. And he does those mechanics pretty shortly after he gets pulled, so that is one to be careful of. But he melted down so fast that he didn't even do any of his big mechanics. But for anyone who hasn't done a hunt train, I will say, even if it weren't this densely populated, oh. Oh. Okay. Well, you might also see moments like that. I know, completely different tangent than what I was just talking about. So, moments like that where you all show up to where the mark was at, and the mark is no longer there. This is called a snipe. And That's because some people do go to old expansions and kill the A ranks. Sometimes they do it because they don't realize that people still run the old trains. Some people do it for a challenge. But the reason it gets called a snipe is just because, well, there was a train that was going to come and take out that mark, and that mark is no longer there. But each zone has 2 marks, typically, that scouts and the conductor will keep track of where they spawn at. They have set spawn locations. Apparently still too far away. So when they call one out and it's missing, it's typically because they had noted its location and stuff, but between the time of them noting it and running the train, and the train actually getting there, someone went through and took it out. It totally happens, like, especially, like, a Realm Reborn, for instance. Like, people don't really do hunt trains for a Realm Reborn anymore. Honestly, I don't see as many Heaven's Ward or Stormblood trains. I did see some Stormblood trains last expansion. But, yes. That was one that I didn't get there fast enough to get the credit for that one, but that's okay. There's so many marks that, like, missing a couple for the sake of it going a bit faster, I'm okay with it. Oh, away with you. Hi! Let's see. Okay. What? Why is... There's another one. Another what? Oh my goodness. Let me go there! I have not dealt with this much congestion since, like, a start of expansion hunt train. But yeah, so many people want their hunts. So many people want their nuts. They want their gear augmented. So they could get pretty populated, but they do die off. So they could be more interesting when fewer people are running them. Because then you have to worry about some mechanics and stuff. So there's still plenty to do. But overall, not super thrilling and exciting content. But it's still a great way to augment gear and get your tomes without having to do your typical roulettes or having to do Savage or having to do all of the Alliance raids and deal with the weekly cap of the Alliance raids. Like, especially the weekly cap of the Alliance raid. Because, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Like, I had depleted quite a few nuts. I've already got quite a few nuts again. I said you get 40 per if you get the full credit, which you'll get the full credit if you're in a full party. So long as, like, I just did my ranged weapon once and still got 40 nuts, so. And I barely made it there on time. And it's like, you could do the math on this one. So Dawn Trail, there were 14 marks. Endwalker, one got sniped, so it ended up only being 15 out of the 16 And then it looks like in Shadowbringers, one is also down. Either it didn't spawn or it got sniped. Either way, like they already acknowledged that before they wanted to start this train. People and their dang chocobos. Why am I looking at a chocobo? But one is missing. There's only 11 out of the 12. But each of those will also still give 40 nuts each. So it's a lot of nuts if you manage to get onto a triple train like this. And then for augmenting gear, well, if I could ever get this guy to load. And I'm just going to throw once. I'm not even going to try to throw any more than that. Because I just want to make sure that I can get my 40 stacks of nuts. And not kill it too quickly because these are level 80 marks that are happening. So they're going to go down fast, especially with the number of people that we've got. I know I was going to say... Oh, with the number of nuts that I've got, so I've got almost 2,000. I spent 2,000 for the material for augmenting right side gear, so any of your accessories. You only need 2,000 nuts for those. For your left, or that's for your right side, and for your left side, you need 3,000 nuts. So it's like... And you don't have to worry about a weekly cap. So you can... Honestly... The only reason to not do hunt trains as much is... Well, there's a couple reasons. One of them is exactly what I've been dealing with. Like, sometimes there's congestion. That could be incredibly frustrating. There could be issues with bosses loading because people are not being respectful for the fact that there is a lot that is loading. There's a lot that is happening. And it can cause the marks to not properly load. And so then people are losing nuts over the fact that someone had to have their chocobos out. Which can be frustrating. Alright, just gonna throw once. And then I'm gonna step away. Let other people get their hits in. People be like, use your limit break. Another reason is that, like, hunt trains, though the scouts and conductors do try to run them as often as they can, there might not always be someone available to run them. And on top of that, there is time for waiting for these marks to appear. So there's not always one available at all times. Like at the start of stream, as you guys saw, as you guys heard me say, I had missed one. Like one had just ended right before the start of stream. I was gonna say, I still hear the battle music, but apparently the mark is down. But yeah, so like standing around and waiting for them can be very frustrating. And then if you go to queue for anything, that takes a longer period of time. And one pops, well, you're going to miss it. Like this one started 8 minutes after announcing. So it was like, if you weren't ready to go by the end of that 8 minutes, then you were just going to miss it. That could be frustrating to try and plan around. And one of the reasons why I was going to do Crystalline Conflict was because those matches have a very short time limit, and typically the queue is not very long. So I was gonna be like, well, I'll just do some crystalline conflict while we wait for these to pop, because those were going to end at a frequency that hopefully I wouldn't completely miss a train. Or not have to join after it had already started, because it can be frustrating to try and join a train after it has already started. Because sometimes people aren't adding the party finders. It could be frustrating to try and start a party finder and get people to join it after it's already started. Not always is it super frustrating, especially if it's still towards the beginning of it starting. But like if someone were to try to join now, for instance, when we are quite a bit of the way through our Shadowbringers marks. We've already done the Endwalker marks. We've already done the Dawn Trail mark. Like, it's going to be challenging for anybody to have a party even fill up if they were to try and open a party finder now. And after this train is done, I will open the party finder to kind of talk about the party finder and that typical etiquette, because that is typically the etiquette that I see across any of the North American data centers. I know that is not always the case, but the typical case for the North American data centers when it comes to hunt trains is to utilize party finder as opposed to utilizing shout or yell chat to say that you're looking for party. And a big reason being okay. But apparently both of the marks here got sniped. But typically that shout chat and that yell chat get used by the conductor to convey where we're at and where we're going, and try to continue promoting the train and all that stuff. And if people are just shouting, invite please, invite please, invite please, it can make that coordination much more difficult and bury those locations. And especially in a large group of this size, there would be a ton of people shouting. Like sometimes we can see like hundreds of people shouting. So that's why, like, unlike some other things, this one, it's typical etiquette is to do a party finder for it. Party finder is not too bad to set up in the event that you have to set one up. And honestly, if you do have to set one up, especially if the train hasn't started yet, it's probably going to fill up pretty quickly. Particularly if you have, like in this case, this was happening on the data center or the world that I am on. So I didn't have to travel worlds or anything like that. So it was like I was going to be one of the first people there. And originally when I opened up Party Finder, it looked like it was 0. But then as soon as I clicked on that tab to see if anybody had a Party Finder up, there was already a party up and they had 5 people already in it. Now this could have been they just happened to be already in a party with 5 other people when they put it up. But also very likely is I want to make sure I shout thank you for train. But also just as likely is that I'm going to teleport somewhere that is less congested than what this is. Is that they put up the party finder and they already had that many people join. Like they can fill up pretty quickly. So it's like if you're not sure if yours is going to fill, do not stress. you will probably get enough people. But okay, so the party finder, like you can see, there's actually already a couple party finders that are up that actually have a location listed. Interesting. Let me click off that tab. Nope, there is still one. That could be just someone's leftover hunt train party finder from before. Maybe they just haven't disbanded. But it's honestly really easy to set up a party finder for hunt train. When you go to recruit members, you can go down to the hunt. It's automatically going to adjust a lot of things for you. And honestly, not much that I set up on here because it's already going to allow anybody to join your party. It's not a big deal if you have all tanks. I've had plenty of times where we had all tanks. Like there was literally a time where I think we were all paladins and warriors, for instance, or we were all warriors and gunbreakers. Like I think there was also a time where every single one of us was a dark knight. Like I've had plenty of hunt train parties where all of us like very intentionally either went tank or all of us intentionally went the same tank even. It's totally fine. It's also fine if there's multiples of the same jobs. Like you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So that's why I don't even worry about changing any of the things down here other than making sure that I unselect classes because I don't care what people join as. They could join as whatever they want to. There's not going to be any sort of objective when it comes to the hunt. Sometimes you can be nice to note some of the relayed hunt train information to say, like for instance, like that one started on Diabolos, and it started in Icrax. Like you could include that information if you want to. Some people, honestly, if they're going to join the hunt train party, they saw the exact same ping with the exact same information. So probably don't need to include that information if you don't want to. You do want to make sure that with a hunt train, you limit recruiting to your world server, because otherwise you are not going to get the credit if it is a cross-world party. So do not uncheck that. You want to leave that checked. Don't need to form a private party because otherwise people are going to have a hard time joining and they're not going to join your party. You want people to join your party. Whole point. Don't necessarily care about their item level. So long as you get enough enmity, it's fine. And so long as they're level 100, they're going to get enough enmity, and it'll be fine. There's nothing in the duty finder because it's just open world content, and I leave everything up and just say recruit members. So how to go over how easy that actually is. Hit recruit members, select the hunt, make sure unselect classes is checked, limit to world servers checked, and then you hit recruit. And that's it. All you gotta do is so much easier than it looks because there is so much for that party finder, and that is because the party finder has so many other things that can be used for that just don't apply to hunt trains. You just don't have to stress about. So that's why setting it up for a hunt train is so easy. That's why if there wasn't one up, I knew I could get one up very, very quickly, and it was probably going to fill so fast. Like that one, it would have been unreal how fast that went up. Like it probably would have been up for maybe a total of 3 seconds before it was filled because there were just that many people there. Not always is that the case. Sometimes if you're running it like during the week or something like that, during the day, when not as many people are on, you might not have as many people there, or if, like, for instance, you've signed up for, like, Dynamis trains. Not everybody does other data center hunt trains, so you might not see as many people on Dynamis for those hunt trains. Honestly, that information is probably really good for anybody who wants to avoid that congestion issue that I was having. And maybe wants it to be a little bit more interesting and are okay with it taking a little bit longer if it for the sake of it being more interesting and ensuring that you hit every single mark and getting all of those nuts. Going to data centers like Dynamis and opting in for the notifications for Dynamis can be really, really good for that purpose. I remember I ran a couple hunt trains on my alt when Dynamis was still very new, and I could tell you that those trains did take a while. It might not be the case now because we've had more people join the Dynamis data center since then, and more people are doing hunt trains in general, and some people are more okay with crossing over to other data centers in order to make sure that they get their nuts and everything. But at least at first, when Dynamis first came to be, not as many people were running those trains in general, and they weren't going over the Dynamis to do them. So they definitely took a hot minute to do. But anyhow, that's what hunt trains look like. They could be exciting, or they can be really, really boring. That one was one that the most excitement that we got was like, okay, is everything actually going to load in a way that I can actually hit the mark this time? Who knows? And a lot of the time, like, I got there in time, but there was some of the time that I didn't get there. But there are definitely times where everything loads perfectly fine. You don't have the congestion issue, but there's just not a whole lot of mechanics. Yeah, I feel like it's more interesting to see those marks when you can actually see the mechanics that's actually going on with them. Like, some of those marks, I hadn't gotten a chance to experience either, and I still don't feel like I got to experience them because that train was extremely populated and went so fast. Yeah, there's a good chance that they might not have been spawned. Now, there are a few of them that I have seen spawned when just walking around and been like, oh, somebody has that noted for a hunt train. But there have also been plenty of them that I'm like, I know that was not there. Like any of the times that I've ever been in this location. But that also could be due to the fact that those marks they have specific locations. They don't always spawn in the exact same one. There's just certain areas where those marks will spawn. Oh, I needed a sip of water there for a second. Okay. So now, back to the whole PvP thing. And doing Crystalline Conflict. To completely redirect again. As I said, one of the reasons I wanted to make sure I did Crystalline Conflict, I'm probably going to do a Crystalline Conflict match and then maybe do a frontline match just so that we can see in one stream the vast difference between these two. But I want to do a Crystalline Conflict on stream because, one, I want to show just how amateur I am at PvP. I'm not good at it. I'm just not. I will straight up admit that. But I also haven't done Crystalline Conflict on stream yet, so I also know some of you might not have seen Crystalline Conflict. If you've watched my streams before, there's a chance that you've seen Frontline because I've done Frontline on stream. But I haven't done Crystalline Conflict, and this is just a good opportunity to be able to show it and show how different it is. So, as I said, the queue time, I'm going to do just casual. And casual, they're popped really, really, really fast. Because you only need 10 people, because it's 5v5. Very, very different from the frontline, which you've got 72 people. So frontline takes the longer queue. And with Crystalline Conflict, it is going to be a rotation of maps that you can get, and those maps change at specific windows of time. You also can't join in a party, so it's going to be 5 random people versus 5 random people. I don't remember which one of these is my hello. But like, if I were to try to go and type in chat, it will not let me type in chat. I cannot even communicate with my free company in chat right now. It won't let me talk to anybody in that chat outside of these macros to my party. Or any of the other macros that you have for quick chat, which goes to your party. The reason is they don't want you happening to cheat your way through the system and find a way to message people. The goal of crystalline conflict is that crystal that's there in the middle right now, we want to push it back to their base. Of course, I'm going to be first set. See? Told you guys, I'm super amateur at this. Like, I'm not good. I'm not good. That person saw me trying to come over here and push the crystal back. That person was trying to get that, so there was a potion that was right there that allowed me to regenerate everything. Damn it. I was hoping to be able to back up just in time to grab that, but but your goal is to get that crystal pushed as close to their base as you can before time runs out. There's a very short, limited time with these, because as you can see, we've got just under 3 minutes left with this already. And we've barely done anything. And my party is dead, so I am not going to try to push into there. Now that my party's back, though, I will do this. I'm going to back up just briefly to try and make sure I can get to my party members and support them. Oh. Where did that person go? That person's target bar was just not even showing up. No. Oh, I pushed too far. I pushed too far. You don't want to get too close to their bases, again, just like in Frontline, because they come out with a little bit of extra oomph. So you don't want to push too far back. You want to be careful. Please don't grab that. Please don't grab that. Okay. Damn it. That was super amateur of me. As I said, I'm not very good at crystalline conflict. But the good thing about crystalline conflict is that you don't have to suffer too terribly long with it, because I've only got 15 seconds left of this match, and that's it. Ugh. I mean, I'm surprised that it even went into overtime, but yes, like, I did so bad. I did so bad. But those last such a short window of time, and those queues can pop very, very fast. And that was a casual match. I will also show how much, like, I'm not ranked at all. So before trying to think if I have enough time to do, I will just briefly talk about ranked rather than actually queuing for ranked. Ranked still operates similarly to casual, but with ranked, you're going to be matched with comparable players. So, like, for me, because I haven't done anything, I am at, like, bronze 3 or something like that. And so I would have similarly bronze leveled players. Now, they might still throw in some other more skilled players, like some silver or gold ranks. With those other ranks, typically the other team will be balanced similarly. So you will see more balance and similarity between the two teams that are versus each other in a ranked match. Whereas a casual match is not going to affect your rank, but you're also not going to see that same consideration happening, because it's just people that are just wanting to casually do a crystalline conflict. But I also don't get any job experience for that, whereas doing this frontline is, as I said before, probably going to take, or well, I didn't see much, I should say. We did see like a little bit of experience. Like I got just over 750,000. That was my bad. That is not none, not a ton. That's not much compared to over 13 million. Like, I would have to do quite a bit of crystalline conflict in order to achieve the next level. But I do get series experience, so it could be much faster to get all of that. So that's going to accumulate faster. So like I'm already halfway through series level 1. And sorry, one of my FC members is slapping me right now. So you can get through your series levels very, very quickly with consecutive crystalline conflict queues, whereas you're not going to see as much with frontline, because not only is the queue sometimes take a little bit longer because you're trying to get 72 people together, but also matches for frontline takes a lot longer than it does for crystalline conflict, because you have a 20-minute time limit. Yes, I agree, Euler. Like, it's even with the limited messaging that you can have for crystalline conflict, people can still be really toxic. Like for instance, like you might see a bunch of people like try to back up and retreat, and one person misses that and ends up dying. Well, that person might start spamming thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just to be a little toxic. And like there are different ways that people have to be, or that people are toxic in crystalline conflict, and they find their way. Oh yes, I totally agree with frontline. It's like there are too many people like more than likely, if everyone's backing up and you just get left for dead, it's probably because, like, hopefully you realize it's probably because you didn't realize that everybody was backing up. Whereas in 5v5, like, you could very clearly, like, see those things and miss those things. Like, and very easily blame specific people because there's fewer people to keep track of. Here, there's too many people. Much lower stakes in frontline, but also if you're trying to get those ranks, it takes longer. Okay, someone's already getting that. And then another thing is that with frontline, you have this extra bar, which is going to indicate your battle high. With your battle high, you are going to get increased health regen and damage dealt, which I need to keep an eye. Make sure nobody's going to come after me, because, like, I'm just out here by my lonesome. No one's even going to come after me. No one? Not a soul. Okay. Okay. I'll take it. I will take it. Everybody really wants to say rank instead of, like, they don't care about B ranks. Like, screw that B rank. I think that dancer may have actually saved me from taking too much fall damage with that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, 'cause I was like, I could have swore I would have taken more damage than what I did. Yeah, I'm gonna try to protect that person. Okay, I'm not taking as much damage as I anticipated. Because you gotta be careful of monks, depending on the map, I should say, on front lines, because those monks, they will try to get those kills just from yeeting you off the edge if you ain't careful. So, like, that's what that monk was trying to do, but I was definitely nowhere near low enough in HP for that to work. Now, that would have worked for that guy, but that guy was, like, almost dead there. And I'm trying to make sure I follow along with people so I can make sure I'm ready to defend. Because not everybody is just fighting over center. Okay, okay. You get that. I protect you. I'm keeping guard. Because everybody is just going after center right now. I'm gonna take a shot at this one, even though this is pretty close to flames. But you're gonna let me grab this one. Or not. So when other teams do stuff like that, I'm like, I offended your honor that greatly. Like, by the time they came after me, it was too late. Like, unlike some of the other maps where you could reclaim a location, like these ones you can't reclaim it. Once it's already claimed, it's claimed. So that coming up to me and that one other person was a little weird. Let's just make sure no one's going to come after me. Especially since this is an A rank. Really? They're all that dead set on center. So with this particular map, so 4 sides means that it's an A rank, 3 sides means it's a B rank. We haven't seen any S ranks, so we haven't seen any of the ones that matter the most. But like the fact that no one even tried to test us over that. Like, just let us have it. Like, okay. Oh, there go to backup. Okay. Grab other stuff while they're distracted. Well, yeah, they have a bunch of A ranks up by them now. And we got people just fighting over here. In no man's land. There's nothing spawned over there. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Probably overkill. I don't care. I don't want them getting more stuff. Because if I look up at the scoreboard, they already are halfway to winning. Whereas Flames has like nothing, because Flames has decided they only care about mid. Yeah, I'm just dead. I'm just dead. There's... Just dead. I'm just dead. Yeah, it's like Flames just went so hard on mid that they apparently haven't cared about any of these other ones, so they are losing so bad. Do. Protect me, protect me, protect me. Dude. Why are you throwing your shields up? Like, you were at full HP, man. I was the one that was getting hammered because I was the one trying to grab the OVO. Alright. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be much focus from... Nope! I got distracted, I accidentally hit the wrong buttons and had too much coming up on my screen, and then I just could not recuperate from that. My bad. My bad, my bad, my bad. Okay. I don't really care if Blue gets some of this stuff, but... Also, Blue, you are focusing on the wrong people. Like, why are you focusing on our nodes instead of helping us gank up on yellow? Considering yellow is literally about to win. We just hit halftime. And yellow is about to win. Honestly, this is probably the moment where, like, we all just start feeding yellow and say, screw it. Because they are not very far from winning, and neither us or the Flames have even broke 1,000. And this map, you only need 1,400, so... Yep, I was gonna say, I'm just here. Just here. Waiting for... Apparently the adders aren't going to win yet. Because we still have to... fight, okay. Sure. I'm not gonna contest blue on that. Not by myself. Just because I can. You know, why not? Why not? Why not have a heyday with it? Honestly, when it gets this imbalanced, like, you may as well just think, you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Do all the things. It's all fine. And they... oh, okay. For some reason, my brain, I saw these S ranks, and I thought that adders already had it, and it looks like, okay, so we're already going to mid to try to make sure that... Okay, so we already got... We got mid. We're probably too late to get them off this one. Doesn't matter, we lost. Like, they're like, stop fighting blue, yellow's gonna win. Like, it doesn't matter, they're 8 points away from winning. Like, it didn't matter at that point. Like, we were going to lose. We were just going to lose. Yeah, it's Frontlines is just much lower stake. As I said, I was going to hit 92, and I'm actually well into 92 with just one match. That one was, excuse me, more of an outlier, I feel like, for Frontlines. There are definitely Frontline maps, though, that can easily take the 20 minutes. Which, compared to the Crystalline Conflict, which it does look like I will have time to do a ranked match for Crystalline Conflict, and see just how horribly I do with that. That way we could see the differences between the ranked and the casual. But the Crystalline Conflict matches, yes, there could be a lot of potential for toxicity, but they did do a lot to mitigate the toxicity because they just straight up do not allow you to use chat outside of the provided chat window or chat options and selecting those buttons. Like, they do not allow you to send messages elsewhere. That goes for ranked, that goes for casual, doesn't matter. As I said, for ranked, it is going to go a little bit more based upon what your current rank is. If you win, you will go up. If you lose, you will go down. Now, one of the reasons I want to do this on stream is I am not ranked at the moment. So it's not like I can go down. If I lose, I just stay exactly where I'm at. If I win, I go up. And either way, for my PvP profile and my Malmstones, I will see that I will get more experience. Now, that front line did give me a ton of experience, but the thing is that, as I said, those can take up to 20 minutes for a match. These are much shorter matches, so for the assumed 20-minute time frame, you're going to get further with, yeah, so you can see at the bottom, like I'm bronze 3, I have a gold 4 on my team, some silvers, like, so their team is probably also going to see a bronze rank. Yeah, so there's another bronze 3. And you see another gold 4, like you see, they try to match the teams up with comparable ranks. That way, everything is at least as close to balance as possible. Party composition, they also try to consider that the best that they can, but they also still want the queue to be relatively fast. So you'll notice that my team is more DPS heavy than the other team. The other team has a healer. But both teams have a tank. Both teams have a summoner. Both teams have a melee, etc. So, as I said, they try, but... And surprise, surprise, I'm dead. I am very amateur. I should have backed up sooner than what I did and kept a little bit better track of where I was on my keyboard. I got myself flustered there. That was totally my bad. I said, I'm very amateur. I'm not very good at this. Come on, team. Ah, damn it. Oh, I'm on the wrong keys. I didn't want to run back for that particular one because I wanted to make sure that if anyone on my team could utilize that, they had it at their disposal. As you can see, there are so many ways that this could be toxic if you could freely chat. Yeah, they're... So, like, there, my strategy was the fact that, like, I know going in, the way that I did was probably not good, but they're right there. They're going to win if we don't stop them. But as I said, it wasn't like I could go down. And sometimes, like, you are going to have matches that are not going to go your way. They just aren't. Doesn't matter if you're a great player or not. I have seen plenty of players that are actually, like, really, really, really good that get stuck at a rank because it goes back and forth between whether they actually have a good match or a bad match when it comes to ranked. Now, just to give a back-to-back comparison between ranked and casual, I will go ahead and do another casual, so that way we can see another casual match and have a little bit more of a direct comparison instead of having that break of time between between the two matches, because we had a front line happen between the two. Even though that was for front line, that was a pretty quick front line. It's been a while since I've had a front line take just a little over 10 minutes. And if you look at the description of the crystalline conflict, it will tell you exactly what times these maps change. So not always is the map going to look like this, and not always are the map interactions going to be as basic as what this one is. This one is a very, very basic map, but some of them have some different mechanics within the map that you have to worry about. This one doesn't have a whole lot interesting going on with it, but some of them, like when you look to the map to the side, those green areas allow for each team to navigate to the other side of the board quickly. Like those are run speed increased areas. So you have that run speed increase similar to like what we have here at the very beginning of the match. So I will step onto this one so we can see it. So you'll see I get that extra sprint. Thanks for the follow. And I do apologize for my, that you followed right as I'm doing my very amateur skills at PvP here. I am super amateur hour right now. I am not very good at PvP. I was gonna say, I see someone's coming up from behind and my team's trying to like keep them off of me since I'm pushing this crystal so much. Okay, we might have a decent match this time. Mostly because it seems like this other team just wants to hunt everybody instead of, there they go. I was like, instead of worrying about getting me off this crystal. Which is the main mechanic. Like, it doesn't matter how many times you kill my teammates or anything like that. If I push the crystal all the way to your base, then you lose. But another mechanic to crystalline conflict, doesn't matter the map, there always will be that first check mark, regardless of which direction you're going to go. So that was the first check mark for our side that I passed by, and I had taken some time off of that particular check mark there. Oh my god, my team. What you doing? What you doing with our team? Get over here and help me. In my team's defense, so we're all range except for one melee DPS. So, you know, I am being a very, very aggressive range DPS. So that is definitely a in their defense kind of thing. Okay, it looks like we've got I just wanted to try to get ahead there. I should have kept a better eye on my HP and everything. But I really, like, they were typically going to hide, like, around a corner or something like that. So that way they could kind of get an edge on us. That, I feel like that is totally fair. Like, Summoner is my go-to when it comes to PvP. Before they did the rework, Dancer was my go-to. I don't know why I couldn't get into Dancer after they reworked it, but I just could not get into it. I'm not gonna lie, this is way more interesting than what my ranked match was. My ranked match that was a pathetic match. Oh my gosh, that was so pathetic. I'm gonna die, but I don't care. I don't care. I think, like, for some reason, the dancer limit break, I'm so bad with the dancer limit break. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like Summer is like, I can either get Bahamut out if I notice that we need the other team to just go pew 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 pew, or if I notice that we need a whole bunch of healing, I get Phoenix out. And there, at that moment, I was going to take that back path there to try to hurry up and get to my team, but my team ended up not needing me. And as you can see, like, my team kept backing up, and as I said, I was playing a very, very aggressive ranged, which is why we see that I had so many deaths. I was very much an easy target. But I also had the most time on the crystal because I was just being aggressive. Typically, arranged, you wouldn't want to do that. That tends to be how I like to play it. But yeah, they like to go. The reason I charged back instead of staying on the crystal where I did was they tend to try to stay back behind a wall, and ranges can kind of like pop out and hit us and then get behind the wall so that they're out of line of sight, making it hard for us be able to stay on the crystal and still attack them. So I went ahead and charged ahead to try to lure them back out of that spot a little bit, so that way my team could properly handle them and continue pushing that crystal. Anyhow, I know I was talking. I did not forget I was talking this time. I did have some brain fog to kind of that made me forget my train of thought, but did not forget I was talking this time. So a few things before I do sign off. First and foremost, for anybody that is new here, if you type in !Discord, !Fluxer, it will give you an invite link in the chat. Doesn't matter which platform you do it on. It will give you an invite link to Discord server, or if you're uncomfortable with Discord because of their changes that they made in March, you could do !Fluxer and you could join the Fluxer server. With either one of these servers, there are a lot of resources, which includes resources for like that PvP revival that I mentioned earlier. If you're wanting to do something like rival wings or anything like that, or if you're wanting to get pings for hunt trains or anything like that. I will continue that talk in just a moment. So that I do like your approach there, Cookie, for having one for frontline and one for CC, because I feel like I could get into playing monk for frontline because like was seen in the frontline that I did earlier, there was a monk that kept coming up and pushing me off of the center platform. So I can see where that would be so much fun to do in frontline, but you don't have those opportunities in CC. So I feel like for CC, I would not have as much fun playing monk, but frontline, oh, like that would be so much fun. Anyhow, with the Discord server, I do have links to like the various hunt train Discord servers, some PvP Discord servers, and things like that. So that way you can get pings for various hunt trains. You can try to join various link shells for getting pings for hunt trains. Join parties for doing rival wings events, things like that. Lots and lots of great resources. I also do go live every Friday night from 8 to 10, Sundays from 1 to 3, and instead of Tuesday nights now, I've switched Tuesday nights out for Wednesday days. Wednesday days, I go live from noon to 2. On the Discord server, there are ping notifications for when I do go live, but there are also times where I have cancellations. And I announce those cancellations in the Discord server as well as the Fluxer server. Both of those get pings, both of those get notifications. Like for instance, like next weekend, I have some things going on IRL. that will prohibit me from being able to stream on Friday and Sunday. So next weekend I won't be, not this upcoming Sunday, but like the 22nd and the 24th, I will not be streaming. But those will be things that I will remind people about in the Discord server and the Fluxer server. I don't do so much of that reminding on my socials. But I also do it as far as like days that I'm going to go live. I do post announcements on my socials to alert for when I'm going to go live. I know that most of my follower base is on TikTok. However, I know that that is a horrible way to try to keep track of when somebody's going to go live, because you might see it the same day before the live happens. More than likely, you're going to see it several months later. Like, I'm pretty sure that some of my content from November is still circulating. Like, that is just the way of TikTok. So like, if you follow me on TikTok or on YouTube and do watch the shorts or anything like that, I highly recommend another platform in addition to that for getting those notifications, such as Blue Sky or X. On most of the platforms, I am Zelda Nightblade, just like I am on all three of the platforms that I am streaming on currently. The only exception is X, because that was too long of a name. But anyhow, I want to make sure that I sign off before some of you get a commercial break. If you happen to stick around, I'm so glad that you did happen to find me on TikTok, because TikTok has not been circulating me so much lately, partially because I've been horrible about making content lately. Because I've been dealing with so many technical difficulties. And I've worked through those technical difficulties, and I am finishing rebuilding everything up so that way I can get back to creating that TikTok and YouTube Shorts content. So that way I can get that information all out to everybody. I just know I have been super far behind, so TikTok has not been pushing me out so much. So I'm still glad that you got that information out about me. But anyhow, if you happen to stick around on Twitch, I will raid out if you do stick around. Otherwise, I am gonna go ahead and sign off, because I'm actually surprised Twitch isn't telling me that we have an ad break happening right now. But I want to make sure I sign off before I lose everybody to ads. So thank you all so much. I will be back on Sunday with my alt, Boba. She is working on Realm Reborn. We finished doing some stuff with the Sylphs, and we are working on what our next big thing is with the Scions. But anyhow, I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic rest of your night. Thank you all so much for joining, and I hope to see you all on Sunday.